Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going straight into some pretty fascinating territory, actually, all thanks to the sources you shared.
That's right.
We've got Lainey Spizer's book, Hot Games for Mind-Blowing Sex Erotic Fantasies You and Your Partner Can Try at Home. And let
Yes.
me tell you, it's packed with ideas
Mm,
on how role play can really, well, shake things up in a relationship.
exactly. And our goal with this deep dive really is to give you the essential insights from Lainey's book. Think of it as a
A
shortcut
shortcut, yeah.
to understanding how exploring fantasies and role play can be this fantastic tool for couples, boosting intimacy, excitement.
All that good stuff.
Right. We'll look at why she thinks it's so beneficial, maybe address some potential sticking
Oh,
points,
yeah.
and touch on different kinds of fantasies just to, get your mind working without needing to read the whole book yourself.
Okay, so let's dive right in. There was this statement right at the beginning that really grabbed me.
Oh, yeah.
The book suggests that in a strong monogamous relationship, everything is permitted when it comes to sexual exploration. I mean, that's a pretty wide open invitation, isn't it?
It really is. It immediately makes you think about trust, about boundaries.
Right. And maybe where those boundaries could even stretch a bit.
And what's key about that, I think, is the emphasis on the safety of that trusting partnership.
Okay.
She's suggesting that this security, this foundation, is actually what allows for the vulnerability you need to explore desires that might, otherwise feel a bit taboo.
Off limits. Yeah.
It's a compelling idea. The stronger the bond, the more freedom you might feel to, well, experiment.
And she gets right into why couples might even want to do this. One idea that stood out to me was how our initial attraction
Uh-huh.
can sometimes be linked to someone resembling a fantasy figure we have in our head.
Yeah.
Like she used fun examples, Brad Pitt or...
The kindergarten teacher, I remember that bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you always went for blonde, muscular guys because of Brad Pitt, or maybe you had a crush on a character and now you want your partner to dress like them. It's a little quirky, maybe.
But it makes sense, doesn't it? It touches on those subconscious drivers of attraction.
Right.
We all have these internal templates, these images, and maybe we are drawn to people who fit parts of them. So bringing that into the relationship playfully.
Through role play.
Yeah. It could be a really powerful way to reignite things, add some intrigue.
Here's something else I found really relevant. How our moods and energies change daily,
Oh, for sure.
and how role play can cater to that. She gives these great examples. One day you're the assertive headmaster, your partner's the kittenish schoolgirl,
Mm-hmm.
and the next day maybe you're meeting as vampy strangers at a bar.
Right. It's like having this whole menu of possibilities depending on how you both feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It shows how adaptable it is.
Yeah, it's not about being locked into one thing. It's a flexible tool that mirrors the relationship's dynamic
And lets you explore different sides of yourself.
and your shared desires, all in a safe, agreed-upon way.
And it's not just our own internal stuff, is it? She mentions how external things, like even just a story someone tells,
Yeah.
can suddenly unlock a whole new fantasy. There's that funny anecdote about her fantasizing about being a slutty Alice from the Brady Bunch after hearing a story.
Huh. Right. It shows the power of narrative, doesn't it?
Totally.
Stories give us frameworks, characters. Our imagination just latches on. It's like a mental playground.
And she talks about unleashing your inner cat or inner bitch, too,
Mm-hmm. Within that safe space.
which, let's be honest, who hasn't had those impulses? But she makes a good point. Things like hair pulling or saying daddy might be totally weird with someone new.
Oh, absolutely. Misinterpreted, even.
But with a trusted partner and clear communication, it can just be part of the fun. That freedom seems really key.
It is. It's about exploring the full spectrum, even the less nice parts. The trust lets you do that without fear of judgment, integrating all of you into the experience.
Now, here's a really practical point she makes. Role play doesn't have to mean breaking the bank on costumes.
Right. That's important.
She stresses it's mainly about imagination, the scenarios you build together. It's the mental shift, not the wardrobe.
Absolutely. Costumes can enhance it, sure, add to the fun.
But not essential.
Definitely not. The real spark is in your heads between you two.
And it doesn't even have to be like full-on acting, right? She mentions verbal role play,
Yeah, just whispering fantasies.
even while cuddling. Like that example of being the 15-year-old neighbor teasing the divorced guy. It sounds so intimate and, well, low pressure.
It really highlights how accessible it can be. Just small verbal cues, shared imagination. that can be incredibly arousing, creates that shared fantasy space.
What I found really insightful was her point about bringing real emotion into it.
Ah, yes.
She says it does delicious things for both the brain and the body. Which makes sense, right? If you're genuinely feeling the role.
It's going to be way more immersive, more intense. You're not just acting, you're feeling it.
And she even connects it to sexy Halloween costumes.
Huh. That's a great analogy.
How adults love dressing up, and even scary costumes get, a sexy twist sometimes.
It taps into that same basic desire, doesn't it? Stepping outside your normal self, exploring personas, often with that playful sexual edge. Roleplay is just bringing that into the bedroom more intentionally.
And the simple props idea is great. A ski mask makes your partner a burglar.
Or barrettes make you the babysitter.
Exactly. It shows you don't need much to ignite the whole thing.
Precisely. It's the symbolism. A small prop can trigger a big mental shift.
Okay, so we've talked about the why, but like the book says, every game has rules.
Crucial section.
Absolutely. And the biggest rule, you can't just spring this stuff on your partner.
No surprises. Well, not that kind of surprise.
Right. Planning, communication essential.
Yeah.
That ski mask example,
Yeah.
you could end up terrifying your partner instead of turning them on. Definitely not the goal.
Consent and communication are the absolute foundation. Always. Introducing something intense without talking first, that can really damage trust.
And it's not just the what, it's the when, isn't it? Timing, mood.
Oh, totally. Read the room.
She paints that funny picture partner, comes home exhausted, stressed, and you're there in a full belly dancer outfit.
Yeah, that might not land well. Could lead to frustration, disappointment.
So you got to be tuned in. Right moment, right energy level. Both people need to be enthusiastic.
Which leads into discussing the more intense stuff.
Right. Spanking, specific toys, tying up.
Things that involve power or vulnerability.
She really stresses. Talk about it first, in detail. What are you both comfortable with? What's off limits?
Non-negotiable,
Yeah.
especially when you're getting into power dynamics or things that could feel uncomfortable. Clear limits ensure safety, build more trust, actually.
And then, the safe word.
Yes, the vital safe word.
She admits she used to think it sounded silly,
A lot of people probably do, initially.
but now sees how crucial it is. A specific word or phrase to just stop. Break character. If things get too intense, too weird.
We're just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like using your mother's name, or just, please stop, sir. Simple, but effective.
It's that safety net.
Exactly. A clear, unambiguous way to halt things. No explanation needed. It empowers both people, keeps things within bounds.
But using it doesn't have to mean game over for the night, right?
Good point. No, it could just mean pause, adjust, dial it back.
Check in. Make sure everyone's still good.
Exactly. It allows for flexibility, ongoing consent within the scene. It's a way to reassess and make sure everyone's still comfortable and enjoying it.
Okay, let's move on to what people are probably wondering about the benefits and potential outcomes.
The payoff.
She says roleplay can touch deep nerves, help you liberate unexplored parts of oneself.
That sounds pretty deep.
It can be stepping outside your usual self, shedding inhibitions. It lets you access parts of your sexuality, your desires that you might normally keep hidden. It can be really freeing, a journey of self-discovery almost. And get this, she even talks about emotional release, like crying, and that it should be seen as positive, like therapy. She used that example of high-powered execs enjoying submission with dominatrices.
Right. It suggests these games can tap into really deep emotional needs, allow for a unique kind of release, maybe processing stuff.
Exploring different power dynamics, surrendering control, taking charge. It can lead to catharsis sometimes. The intensity bypasses our usual defenses.
Makes sense. And she really emphasizes these games are intimate, best played with someone you deeply trust.
Yeah, not exactly first date material.
Probably not. The vulnerability requires that established connection, that security.
And she encourages letting go of inhibitions, exploring taboos.
Within that safe
It's
context.
like a temporary permission slip to be a bit naughty, step outside the everyday.
Yes. It's a contained space to explore desires that might feel off-limits otherwise. Knowing it's just a game lowers the barrier, allows experimentation without real-world judgment.
And then she wraps up this bit with a powerful line. In the world of roleplay, you can have sex with absolutely anyone you want.
Whoa, that really captures the imaginative freedom, doesn't it?
Totally. Limitless potential. Transcend reality, explore any scenario, be anyone, all with your partner's consent.
Okay, now for the juicy part. Specific examples of fantasies. The book has loads, obviously, but we'll just touch on a few categories to spark ideas.
Sounds good. First up, strangers in the night.
Ah, the classic.
The idea is rediscovering each other like you're meeting for the first time. Different circumstances. The thrill is that raw sexuality without all the relationship history and expectations.
What's cool about the stranger's idea is tapping back into that initial spark, seeing your partner fresh without the routine.
Yeah. And she gives detailed examples. Two strangers at the bar.
Right. New place, different clothes.
The whole pickup routine, wait up identities, banter, escalating touch, maybe a bathroom quickie.
And then taking it home, continuing the fantasy.
She even mentioned shaving pubic hair for a brand new pussy. That's commitment.
Huh. The detail helps make it feel real, gives concrete ideas. Setting the scene, the attire, the slow burn, all key.
The other one is two strangers at the restaurant, more sensual, maybe a bit illicit.
Food and flirtation.
Secret touches under the table.
Ah.
That thrill of doing something scandalous in public.
Yeah, that plays on the excitement of public intimacy, the risk of getting caught, the contrast between the ordinary setting and the secret heat.
Okay, next category. Sex worker fantasies. This seems to be about claiming sexuality, exploring power dynamics in that way.
Exactly. For some, it's a way to explore power, agency, desire more overtly, maybe transactionally, even if it's pretend. Sexuality front and center.
She breaks it down.
Yeah.
First, the streetwalker and the John. She calls it decadent. Key elements. A
Yeah.
hypersexual, confident attitude. Specific look. Tight, shiny, maybe tacky clothes, thigh-high boots.
No underwear suggested for easy access.
Right. And the pickup. Hey, sexy, how much? Even Evan's car sex practicalities, getting paid up front. Monopoly money counts.
The streetwalker taps into something primal, almost taboo. Immediate transaction, uninhibited desire, overt availability. The details really immerse you.
Then there's the high-class call girl in the John. More refined on the surface.
Chic cocktail dress, maybe? Silk lingerie underneath? Garter belt?
Setting.
Yep.
Fancy hotel bar. Pickup line. I'll be the one in red holding a martini. Subtle flirtation, playing footsie, the negotiation.
It's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Elegance, exclusivity, but still that underlying transaction. The contrast is alluring.
We also have the stripper and the customer. You can do this at home.
Nice and accessible.
All about the dance, the tease, taking control unexpectedly, like pretending a lap dance, then taking it further.
Right.
She emphasizes smelling great, feeling soft.
That one allows for playful exhibitionism, controlling the interaction, using your body to entice, then dictating the terms, empowering.
And last in this group, the masseuse and the client. More about giving pleasure.
Focusing on the partner's experience.
Setting up a home massage parlor. Pickup. Let's release that tension. There's even a massage 69 variation mentioned.
And the alternative, masseur and the client, where the woman receives and directs, explores different power dynamics and caregiving roles.
Yeah, intimacy through touch, subtle power plays in service, sensual, nurturing, can lead naturally to more.
Okay, shifting gears to sexy servant fantasies. Different kind of power play.
Here it's the dynamic between servant and employer or master. Submission, dominance. Lots of ways to explore that.
First, the secretary and the boss draws on those, well, classic stereotypes.
Maybe outdated, yeah. But look, 50-60 secretary, twin sit, garter belts, stockings, pickup. Late lunches have consequences, leads to disciplinary, sexual orders, undressing.
It plays on workplace power dynamics, fictionalized, of course. Authority, obedience, imagined sexual tension.
Then, the maid and the employer. That iconic French maid outfit. She says most people find it appealing.
Hard to argue with that iconic image.
What's interesting here, she says, is the maid can actually take control, tell the employer what to do. Fun role reversal.
Yeah.
Switching dominant submissive. She even mentions a ton blowjob as hot subservient.
The maid fantasy is visually potent. The costume carries so much. Service, implied sexuality. Great starting point for playing with power, maybe subverting it.
And finally here, the master and his slave girl. More intense.
Clearly defined roles.
Picture this. Slave girl greets master home, dim lights, candles, music, wearing little, ready to serve, bath ritual, total servitude. Sex in the tub from behind is the cleanest way to get dirty.
This one delves into more explicit power dynamics. Submission, service. Exploring those desires in a safe, consensual way with clear expectations.
Okay, next. Older man and younger woman fantasies. Tapping into inner child stuff, authority dynamics.
Themes of mentorship, maybe inexperience, the allure of age and authority, revisiting earlier stages maturely.
Main example, the teacher and the student, going back in time. Appeal for both women reliving rebellion, men drawn to the look and control fantasy, she suggests.
It's definitely loaded with societal stuff, power imbalances.
Exploring it in roleplay allows a safe examination of those dynamics, the desires they might represent. She even includes a spanking how-to, talks, eye contact, attire. Pickup. Mr. McMullen, what are you doing at my house?
Classic.
There's also an alternative. Babysitter and father of the kids. Focuses on building tension in private moments. Innocent talk, masking sexual tension.
That plays on the forbidden nature, the subtle power dynamics, unspoken desires, anticipation.
Our final category. Breaking the law fantasies. Excitement from danger. Control versus rebellion.
Right. Brings back childhood games, maybe, like cops and robbers.
But adult, dirtier, lends itself to costumes, props, handcuffs, toy weapons.
Taps into the thrill of transgression, authority versus rebellion, perceived risk, even simulated, can be very arousing.
First example, the cop and the lawbreaker. The uniform, the authority,
Yeah.
the toys.
A common fantasy archetype.
She shares her own fantasy of flirting her way out of a ticket. Attire details. Even a big, shiny black dildo in the holster instead of a billy club.
Huh. Creative.
Pickup. Ma'am, you are under arrest for indecent exposure. Discusses using big dildos for sexual intimidation in the scene.
Strong play on authority, capture, submission. The uniform's symbolic power is huge, exploring power and control very directly, sexually.
The other is the burglar and the victim. More about trust, relinquishing control.
But requires extreme caution in communication.
Absolutely. She stresses detailed boundary discussion beforehand because it involves play violence. Waking up to a stranger, hand over mouth, struggle. The idea of a good rape scenario where resistance turns into going along.
This is obviously very sensitive territory.
Very. She details the robber's look, dark clothes, mask pantyhose, accessories like ties, tape rope, toy weapons, and stresses a safe word plus some extra signals maybe for when it feels too intense.
Given the simulated violence and themes of vulnerability, powerlessness, exceptionally clear communication, boundaries, and safety focus are paramount here, non-negotiable.
There's also a lighter alternative. Cops and robbers. Playful chase around the house. Wrestling.
Sounds less intense, more playful, focuses on the chase. Physical interaction, not forced submission.
Okay. Wow. That was quite a tour through the world of erotic fantasies and roleplay from this book.
It really covers a lot of ground.
So what's the key takeaway for our listeners, do you think, from all this?
I think the main insight is that exploring fantasies, doing role play with that strong foundation of trust, open talk, and enthusiastic consent can be this incredibly valuable tool.
A tool for what, specifically?
For deepening intimacy, boosting communication, adding excitement, novelty. It's about having the courage to step outside your usual roles, explore different desires.
And ultimately connect more deeply.
Exactly, through shared experiences, even the naughty ones.
Absolutely. It really is about imagination, honest conversations, and just having some fun exploring together.
Yeah.
So thinking about that opening idea, everything is permitted in a trusting relationship. Here's a final thought for everyone listening. What personal boundaries or maybe unexplored desires has this deep dive sparked you to maybe consider discussing with your partner? Perhaps the real adventure starts with just having that conversation.
That's a great place to leave it.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.